For generations, Robert Duvall was Hollywood's quiet backbone, steady, disciplined, and allergic to nonsense. While trends came and went, scandals burned and faded, and stars rose and fell, Duvall stayed rooted in one thing: the truth of the craft. He never chased glamour. He didn't play political games. And he never pretended to be anything other than a working actor who respected the job. But underneath that calm, disciplined exterior lived decades of frustration, disappointment carved by ego, hypocrisy, and the hidden cruelty that shaped Hollywood's so-called golden years. And in his later life, Duvall finally stopped holding back. There was one man he admitted he could never forgive, and the story behind that bitterness reveals a much darker side of the industry. The rise of a reluctant star. Robert Duvall wasn't built for fame. Born in 1931 to a strict Navy admiral, he carried discipline like a second skin. When others dreamed of stardom, he dreamed of honesty in performance. His first screen appearance as Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird instantly showed audiences that power didn't require volume, only truth. Through the 1970s, as realism reshaped cinema, Duvall became one of the last true craftsmen, a man who worked quietly, precisely, and without ego. But that same devotion made him intolerant of actors who treated the craft carelessly. And no one violated his principles more, in his eyes, than Marlon Brando. The idol who became the enemy. The world saw Marlon Brando as a revolutionary. Duvall saw the most destructive ego I ever worked with. Before meeting him, Duvall admired Brando deeply. On the Waterfront, A Streetcar Named Desire, these films shaped his early belief that acting could be poetry. But during the making of The Godfather, that admiration shattered. Brando showed up late. He refused rehearsals. He had lines taped to other actors' clothes so he wouldn't have to memorize them. Younger actors called it genius. Duvall called it chaos dressed as talent. He believed Brando didn't elevate his co-stars, he derailed them. And when Brando received tens of thousands in bonus pay after the film's release while the rest of the cast got nothing, the wound only deepened. Duvall later said, "You don't congratulate a man for burning the bridge he crossed on your back." Watching a legend collapse. As Brando's fame grew, so did his unpredictability. He stormed off sets, laughed at interviewers, and rejected discipline entirely. When Brando refused his Oscar in 1973, calling it a political act, Duvall saw nothing noble in it, only grandstanding. Over time, Brando became a symbol of wasted brilliance. And when tragedy struck Brando's family, Duvall remained silent, not out of spite, but out of resignation. He simply said, "Life teaches what Hollywood never can." When Brando died in 2004, Duvall did not attend the funeral. A short note was sent instead. "Let it end." The brother who became a stranger, Al Pacino. In the early 70s, Duvall and Pacino were inseparable. They rehearsed together, struggled together, and built a bond rooted in mutual respect. But fame distorts even the strongest friendships. After The Godfather Part 2, Pacino soared into global superstardom, while Duvall retreated to quieter work. The final break came in 1989, when The Godfather Part 3 was announced. Pacino, $5 million plus profit share. Duvall, $1 million flat. Duvall didn't just see this as a studio insult, he saw it as betrayal that Pacino didn't intervene. A brief statement in Entertainment Weekly sealed their fate. "That's the studio's business, not mine." Duvall walked away. The film released without him. Critics said the family had lost its conscience. The two men never repaired the bond. The director he couldn't respect, Stanley Kubrick. By 1980, Duvall was known for discipline on set. So when he watched behind-the-scenes footage of The Shining, he was horrified. Shelley Duvall's breakdowns, her hair falling out, the never-ending retakes, he saw not genius, but cruelty. Later, after meeting Kubrick for a project called The Aryan Papers, Duvall described the director as cold as a morgue. He refused the film. Years later, he said publicly, "Kubrick? Great films, yes. But for actors? He was their enemy." The teacher who lost him, Francis Ford Coppola. Francis Ford Coppola discovered Duvall. He championed him. He trusted him. Together they made The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, two of the most influential films in history. But the trust faded. During Apocalypse Now, Duvall endured brutal conditions, suffocating heat, explosions, exhaustion so severe he coughed blood. Yet Coppola kept pushing. Then, decades later, when the studio underpaid Duvall for The Godfather Part 3, Coppola stayed silent. And silence can break a friendship more deeply than words. Duvall never forgave him. A lifetime of principles and their price. After more than 70 years in Hollywood, Duvall has seen everything. Brilliance and arrogance. Loyalty and cold ambition. Friendships that became rivalries. Artists who forgot their humanity. For him, integrity wasn't optional, it was the only way to survive. And in the end, the people he once admired most became reminders of what the industry can take from you. Was he too stubborn? Too principled? Or simply the last man in Hollywood unwilling to compromise his soul? What do you think? Was Robert Duvall right to stand by his beliefs, even when it cost him friendships, fame, and opportunity? Share your thoughts below, and remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Untold Hollywood stories.